Repeat. Mars guys, how do they have the sauce and all this?
The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. And if children, then heirs, heirs of God, and joint heirs with God. If so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of God. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same, in hope, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. For we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption to it, the redemption of our body. I will declare the decree. The Lord hath said unto me, Thou art my son. This day have I begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces, like a potter's vessel. Be wise now, therefore, O ye kings. Be instructed, ye judges of the earth.
Repeat. Mars guys, how do they have the sauce and all this?
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples for his younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the whole clique out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakakwadash, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the whole collective believers and listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Shai. All right, and what I want to get into with this lesson, all right, the devil at work, all right, the polluted kingdom, okay, and just going into Esau Edom, I found this pretty good channel with some videos, that goes into exposing, the devil Esau Edom. Matter of fact, let's start off with that, okay. So when you go here, we get back to Matthew or Ratazah, but you go here to let's get that in Mark 4:22. Let's get in the AMP. So you get the book of Mark, chapter 4. All right, and verse 22. It's the book of Mark, chapter 4, verse 22. It says, For there is nothing hid which shall not be manifested, neither was anything kept secret, but that it should come abroad. All right, and for the longest, Esau Edom, has presented himself, okay, as this, the standard of righteousness, the standard of morality, that, his technology, was only doing wonders, for the earth, which it creates convenience, okay, well, all this devil, and it's not the technology itself, it's the application of the technology, okay, it's in the hands of a wicked ruler. You see, so the technology itself, for the most part, he makes some things, that are just, destructive. The nature of the thing is destructive. Okay, but this devil, he turns things that can be used for the forwarding of society. Okay, and he puts, he makes it a dual use. It creates convenience, but then it creates destruction. It creates pollution. It is harmful to the environment. It's harmful to the people. It creates a level of convenience, but on the back end, it's destructive. Okay, and now these things are being brought out. Everyone. There's a lot of people. You have this uptick, as you say, in the investigative journalism. Okay, to where it's people that are just locked in. Okay, into exposing this devil. Going through the paperwork, going through the laws, going through the loopholes, and all these particular things that these devils are doing. Okay, and how harmful it is to the earth. You see, and this devil is intentionally turning the earth to a death camp, man. This man is the man of death. Okay, and that's why when you go here, uh, and if I can get this in the AMP real quick, okay, then we get a couple more precepts, and I got a quick video, to go into. Okay, yeah, let's get this in the AMP, because it's all about timing. The boys raised the prophet up, particular time because the prophets are at the forefront of exposing this man. It's through, all right, the ministry of the prophets. So when you go into the AMP, it said, "For nothing is hidden except to be revealed, nor has anything been kept secret, but that it will come to light." That is, things that are hidden, all right, things are only hidden temporarily until the appropriate time comes for them to be known. So yeah, the Lord is all about timing. He raised the prophets up in a particular time, all right, to really begin the expose, okay, the exposure of Esau Edom, okay, certain truthers, certain insiders, and this uptick, let's say, investigative, journalism. All these things were, in a point in time, because ultimately we're investigative journalism, in the spirit, prophets, okay, and so we had a perspective, all right, from Yahweh Bashim Shah. You see, we have the source. We're connected to the source of the information that exposes this devil, man. Okay? But when you go into it, all right, as the scriptures say, things are happening, is an appointed time. All right, and it's the appropriate time for the devil to be exposed right before he's judged and removed from power. We're at the end of this man's rulership. Make no doubt about it. This is the end of Esau. Okay, that's the theme of prophecy is speaking the end of this guy, man. Okay, Esau Edom beginning with Amalek there at least. Okay, so when you go into let's go from there. Let's get this in the book of Jeremiah. All right, chapter 49. Okay, it's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, verse 10. It said, "But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself." Okay, so there's nothing that the devil can do, okay, to reverse him being exposed. Okay, and it's to the time that he's been exposed real time. So as soon as he, comes with, a scheme, there's exposure. You're going to have the simple that believe every word. Okay, you're going to have a portion of the people enchanted. Okay, by everything, man. Because the devil he puts so much out there. Even certain people that go into particular things only so far they can go. But you combine, the prophets, which we have the full truth, the full understanding. Okay, we tie up all the loose ends in the spirit. It's not us, it's the spirit that's working in us that has us to tie up all the loose ends of all this information. That's coming out on this devil, man. You know, and we know what to we know what to void out. We know what not to even entertain because a lot of this stuff is just BS. Entertainment, distraction, confusion. Okay, but through the spirit, we're able to filter through, okay, this information and tie it all together according to prophecy, man. It's all the spirit of the Lord that's doing that in these last days. And that's how the devil, is unable to hide himself, man. Okay. He's unable to put the elect back to sleep. Okay. And he's unable to stop, this uproar, all right, from his subjects, even his own people. Okay. He's unable to put, all right, the cat back in the bag. It's out and it's multiplying. Okay. So what we're seeing as you read on, but I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled. Okay. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Yeah, because before this devil, will go down, because he's going to lose his war along with these other heathens. All these heathens lose the war. Okay. When they're allowed to get at Esau before they're all taken down. These Edomites over in the West, America, you know, you small heads gonna get their work in this war. You see? And you're gonna be spoiled because what? You're gonna go into captivity. You survivors of this war. Okay, all you heathen, beginning with Esau, you're going into captivity. Okay? So right before the devil will go down, the Lord will push a spirit of exposing this man, making this man bare. And the Lord is stripping this man, from his ability to rule. He's been made bare. The sword, he doesn't have, the advantage that he once had with the sword. Okay, he still can do a lot of damage. Of course, he's gonna do a lot of damage on his way out because the Lord wants, all right, judgment to go forth. He's gonna use the devil as a tool of judgment. Okay, on the way out. Okay, but what we're getting ready to see is this devil, he's getting ready to lose his kingdom and go into captivity. Okay, and the Lord has caused this man to be exposed leading up to that time. Okay, now what we're seeing is this devil is unfit to rule. He's always been unfit. Okay, it's just a time of exposing it. Okay, it's just a time of proclaiming it. It's just a time of going into it. Okay, this devil is being there's an inquisition being made. Okay, this devil is from scrutiny, man. The two witnesses, the northern and southern kingdom. The prophets, and then you have the third witness. Okay, which are what the whistleblowers. Like I say, these are investigative journalists. Okay, these insiders, that are coming out, tell off. Okay, Edomites. Okay, now when you go to Matthew 24:21, it says, "For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be." Okay, so we're coming into a time, all right, where the devil and his attempt to establish a new world order, man, it's going to be through a lot of tribulation. He's manufacturing, certain crises. Okay, he has this war going on. You see, and this new world infrastructure itself, okay, is killing the earth and it's killing people. That's why those data centers are really death centers, man. And there's a ripple effect. See, there's effects of things that this man has been doing that haven't even been felt yet, man. There's certain things that this man has been setting up and tampering with and playing with and experimenting because he's a big child, man. He's a big dumbass child that's in power. Okay? So there's certain things that this man been tampering with and, dealing with the earth and people haven't even felt the ripple effect yet, man. Because he's all over the place, man, because he has a hell of a task attempting, to try to be the most high. Okay? It said, then shall there be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be. So we're coming into the worst time ever, man. Because it's a time of great judgment. And ultimately, it's the Lord showing his anger. Esau is going to be a tool of his anger on the left hand side for, a short period during this tribulation. Before he's judged, okay, by the anger on the right hand side, which is through Yahweh Shah. All right. Verse Matthew 24:22 says, "Except those days shall be shortened, there should no flesh be saved," man. And that's literal, man. This man would destroy the earth. He would make the earth unlivable. Okay, Esau will make the earth unlivable, man. You see, if the Lord didn't intervene, you see, he will make it to where the earth couldn't even be inhabited, man. Okay, because this man has no breaks. Okay, this man, like I say, this man, has this power and authority. Okay, to do things that just so destructive, man. No flesh will be saved. Okay, so you're gonna have, all these things happening in this time of tribulation at the same time, and the Lord is going to have to intervene and cut the time short. Yahweh Shai is coming to put an end to the tribulation through war. Okay, he's coming to put down all hostile parties. Okay, and the rulership that's most destructive to the earth, which is Esau Edom. Okay, it says, "But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened." Yeah, and Lord will part of that number. But there's an elect, all right, that's going to be delivered. You see, there's a delay that's going to be delivered from, all right, the devices, okay, of Esau, and ultimately the wrath of the Lord. Because the wrath of the Lord, that's going to, okay, be more destructive than what Esau, okay, got going on. Okay, but this man is a terror unto the earth. Okay, and we go into the scripture how he was given, the power to take peace from the earth, and this nigga is, doing this on a whole nother level. He takes peace from the earth on a whole nother level, man. Okay, so let's go here to this video. I can say pretty good channel. It's called More Perfect Union. So you can subscribe to this channel. Watch a few things. Like I said, I just got hip to it, a couple of days ago. But Albert Rogers, I started a little series, to make a few videos, with some of this content that he's put out. All right, because he does some real good, journalism.
Sometimes the most shocking corporate.
So let's go here now. This is from a while ago, a year ago, but it just goes into the details of the devil, Elon Musk. And remember, Elon Musk, he's not the richest man in the world. All right, he's a do boy. Okay, for the elites. Okay, the mascot of certain technology, that they want to make consumer friendly, but it really, plays a part in this digital, slave grid that Esau is creating, man. Okay, but just go into some details, all right, of how the devil, got down there in Memphis with this huge data center named the Colossus. Okay, so let's play this.
Misconduct is hidden in plain sight, invisible to the naked eye.
What is happening here will swallow our world if we don't stop it right here, right now.
Looking back, there was an early clue that the world's richest man was up to something here.
It's just like, why is Elon Musk coming to Memphis?
The people of Memphis soon found out.
Now Elon Musk is coming to Memphis to build the world's largest supercomputer.
A year later,
we here because we need food.
People here want answers.
It's a job of the health department to protect our lungs and not run to the winter XAI to see that they have 35 gas turbines operating and polluting our air.
We went to Memphis and found an environmental crime scene. Musk's data center burning enough methane to power a small city with no permits and no pollution controls.
I have not seen anything like this. We believe they've already violated.
Dismantle the very federal agency that's supposed to protect us against pollution like this.
There is no way to miss how this is a coordinated strategy.
What does Memphis reveal about the future Elon Musk wants for us all?
So the mission of XAI and Grok is to understand the universe.
In 2023, Musk founded XAI to produce and sell artificial intelligence.
We want to understand the nature of the universe so we can figure out where are the aliens, what's the meaning of life, how does the universe end.
Its main product is Grok, an AI chatbot that he's incorporated into Twitter, or X. Musk was entering the race to dominate the AI market, but he was.
And remember, this is AI infrastructure being rolled out. All right, so this whole narrative of Elon Musk, just being this genius billionaire, it's Tony Stark, all right, character, this big, philanthropist and You know, no, this man is just a mascot of this digital, infrastructure that's going to be used for this technocracy for control. All right, he's the mascot of it, and it's being rolled out. Okay, not to study the universe and talk about aliens, and that's another thing too. This whole Space Force thing is based on this devil trying to fight. All right, Yahweh shot in the chariots when they come back and what? Okay, so they give you these these false narratives about these certain characters and this technology. Nah, man, this is the elites rolling out New World Order infrastructure. Okay, these satellites are going to be for, the data centers. Okay, tracking and tracing this RFID chip. Okay, and those data centers are just that computing power that works with these satellites and different things. But at the end of the day, okay, it's New World Order infrastructure. So they give you this narrative like we're doing this because of this and we're doing this because of that, and we got to solve this, and maybe we can solve the hunger crisis and all this BS. Okay, this Captain America jumbo mumbo, nah, man. Okay, so let's play some more. Like I said, it's about 9-10 minutes long. He's gonna go into it.
It's arriving late, years after competitors like OpenAI and Google had begun training their AI systems. So in Musk's mind, he had to move fast.
We went to the data center providers and said, how long would it take to have 100,000 GPUs operating coherently in a single location? And we got timeframes from 18 to 24 months. So we're like, well, 18 to 24 months, that means losing as a certainty. So the only option was to do it ourselves.
Been waiting for this moment. I am pleased to announce that xAI's Gigafactory of Compute, the world's largest supercomputer, is to be located in Memphis, Tennessee.
Musk dubbed the project Colossus, after a movie about a supercomputer that becomes sentient and assumes total control of the world.
And so, my fellow human beings, we all directly and indirectly live in the shade, but not the shadow of Colossus.
When you think about the computational power that it will take to put humans on the surface of Mars, that's going to come from the Gigafactory of Compute that calls Memphis home. We were told that by the company. And so it required speed and power.
It's announced as a done deal.
Keyshawn Pearson grew up in South Memphis.
A billionaire and his organization is coming to our city, and we're just finding out after the land has been purchased, after the project has been approved by certain officials, right, who did know.
This is huge. This puts the word out there that Memphis understands operating at the speed of business.
As a community, we're trying to reach out to people and understand what is xAI. He built it without us even knowing that it was being built.
We had to watch this over X, or Elon Musk would tweet often about where they were, how fast things were moving.
To train an AI system, a data center requires an enormous amount of electricity. The question was, where would the power come from?
Most companies, when they come to the city of Memphis, they plug into our power grid. That's what you think would happen. Why would this be any different? Unfortunately, we learned, because it is a billionaire's corporation, it would be a lot different.
xAI made a deal with the local electric company for 150 megawatt and agreed to build a new substation to help meet that demand. But Musk's ambitious plans suggested he would need much more power than that, and fast. Soon, people started to notice some unusual structures outside the facility.
I drove out there, and the first thing I did was hear the turbines. You can smell it as well. Such a disturbingly unique smell.
From the road, Keyshawn and others could see a row of machines that are typically only used for remote or emergency operations. Mobile gas turbines.
I have never seen portable turbines used like this.
Patrick Anderson works on air quality cases for the Southern Environmental Law Center.
We know that these kinds of generators require air permits. And so right off the bat, we started filing records requests with the local Shelby County Health Department. Do you have an air permit application from xAI? And they came back and basically said, no, we have nothing to hand over. We also filed records requests with EPA to see what they had. They also did not have details on what is on the ground out there.
So, the devil, here it is, he can just throw up this data center with no permits, with no nothing. All right, showing you that the EPA is a joke. Okay? You American people have no government. Okay? It's all about the agenda of, all right, technocracy. Okay? You saw him full throttle with technocracy, man. You see, you people still talking about the midterms and we get the control of the House in the midterm. That shit do not matter. Okay, this devil is on the ground running. He's building the infrastructure. The infrastructure is built. Okay, he's getting to the point to where he can just switch the system over, man. He doesn't care about the pollution. Okay, or the long-term effects of these data centers, man. It's hard to try to pull it off. Okay, this man is hard to try to be the most high with technology, man. You see. So here it is. You're supposed to have these certain permits about, this, the air pollution and, the environment report and all these different things. But no, he doesn't. He don't need that. These are the elites, man. They own America, lock, stock, and barrel. Okay, this is their corporation, America. All right, Trump is an employee, a president. Okay, these tech guys are their do boys. Okay, these propped up billionaires. You see, that are meant to be used for what, a tool of distraction. Okay, so you can focus on one man and not pay attention to the whole system that's being rolled out. They get you focused on all these individual pieces to where you don't focus on the whole system and how all these pieces work together. Okay, so to play some more.
Nobody from the regulatory side, the health department, the city, EPA, has told the public or us really one iota of what's actually operating out there.
To figure that out, Patrick and his team hired a photographer to capture the data center from above. The images revealed far more turbines than anyone knew about. 35.
I couldn't believe it. I was absolutely stunned. How do we not know about this?
According to XAI leadership, the turbines are not being used and are not connected.
Under pressure, XAI claimed it was using less than half of those turbines.
I've talked to the XAI leadership team. There are 35, but there are only 15 that are owned. The other ones are stored on the site.
Well, first off, these are expensive. There's a turbine shortage nationally. You don't obtain these turbines and put them on site if you're not intending to operate them.
So Patrick and his team sent the photographer back out with a high-end thermal camera.
What we saw is 33 of the 35 were very clearly operating.
The turbines were capable of generating about 420 megawatts of electricity, enough to power around 300,000 homes.
They've built a power plant out there. And they've done it overnight, no air pollution controls, quick and dirty, no permit.
I mean, what you've done with the cluster in Memphis is incredible. Just in a handful of weeks.
Any given thing can be sped up. Yeah. Like whatever speed is being done, it can be done faster.
This is the largest AI cluster in the world. This place is absolutely amazing.
That is like superhuman. I mean, Elon is singular. Building a massive factory in the short time that was done, there's only one person in the world who could do that.
And this entire supercomputer is built to power rocks.
We were given a tour at XAI, looking at the facility. Very impressive, very exciting for Memphis. Their commitment to community is remarkable.
It's unique in my experience.
Joseph Goffman has worked on air pollution issues for decades. Until January, he ran the EPA office that regulates air quality.
Most companies that I've dealt with go to great lengths and spend a lot of money to make sure that the day they turn on their operations, they're also turning on their pollution control equipment. That's a given. For a company to do this, it's treating the people who live there as if they don't count.
Yeah, and it's Jake. You see, he don't give a damn about Jake, and for him, it's a double win. He get to put up data centers, which fuel his AI. Okay, and he get to destroy Jake. Now he doesn't care who it destroys at this point, because he's getting desperate. Okay, well we know his preference, okay, is to destroy Jake. You see, and it said that guy, the former head of the EPA, so he must have spoke out or said something, and it got him out of there, man. Well, let's play a little more, but yeah, they say he's the former head, and he said he's never seen nothing like this, man. The way that they're just rolling this out and how destructive it is, all right, to the people, man. Okay, let's play a little more.
I like to open my windows early in the morning to breathe the fresh air, God's given air, not the air that man want to give us, but God.
Eastern Knox lives just over a mile from XAI.
I really wasn't getting the fresh air. I was getting that pollution that was mixed in with everything.
You know how you light your stove and that gas seeps with the little ticking noise? That's what it smelled like.
Alexis Humphreys grew up here, one street away from Eastern.
When I smelled it the first time, I was asleep. And it woke me up because I thought gas was seeping in the house, but come to find out, we come outside and all the neighbors was outside trying to figure out what's going on.
He was an ordinary dad, full of joy, full of jokes.
Last year, Alexis lost her grandfather, who struggled with a respiratory illness called chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD.
COPD is a breathing condition, but you don't get it unless you smoke cigarettes. And my granddad didn't smoke cigarettes, but every 3 weeks or so, my granddad was going to the hospital. He would have to get breathing treatments. I have asthma, bronchitis. My mom have just bronchitis, and now my granny has it.
You can't hardly breathe. It's just like your whole world is collapsing down on you, and it's frightening.
Easter and her husband have also developed COPD. What does it feel like?
Feel like you're fixing to die.
The area around XAI leads the state in emergency department visits for asthma. Memphis has one of the highest rates of toxic air releases of any American city, and many of its most polluting facilities are in this neighborhood.
Elon, what he did with Memphis is objectively somewhat dirty, but he's also doing it in an area where there's like a bigger natural gas plant right next door and like a wastewater treatment and a garbage dump nearby, right? And he's obviously made the world a lot more clean than that one data center.
In just 1 year.
See that? How they try to make these guys heroes. Okay. So I'm like, he got that one, polluting dirt data center, but he's made the world a lot cleaner since then, man. You goddamn devils, man. Okay. And they look like the Ishmaelite. All right. That's why all you heathens going to captivity, man. Okay. Because you have these people, that they worship these billionaires like they can do no wrong. Okay. You see, and it's just one of many, man. Okay, and there's a long-term effect that hasn't been, and there's a ripple effect that hasn't been felt for all this wickedness that this devil's been doing, man. Okay, play a little more.
XAI has blown past existing polluters.
They're emitting somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 tons of NOx out in Memphis.
Gas turbines like these release three main types of deadly pollution: nitrogen oxides, formaldehyde, and fine particulate matter. Nitrogen oxides combine with other pollutants to form ground-level ozone, which causes and worsens asthma and COPD. Formaldehyde causes cancer, and particulate matter, airborne soot, can pass through your lungs and into your bloodstream, causing heart disease.
Yeah, it's a death sentence. You see, it's a death sentence, man. Okay, and this is what this devil wants, because he's all about population control, all right, culling the herd. He's all about that, man. So in his sick, twisted, wicked mind, this is a win. It forces AI and gets rid of people. Okay?
We've shown up today because we've been to too many funerals. We've shown up today because we've cried too many tears. We've shown up here today because we're tired. And we have an expectation of the people that we elect and put into place. We expect them to do what is in our best interest. Not to keep our us, and what we're saying is that stops now.
In April, hundreds of people came to a high school in South Memphis to talk about XAI. In January, the company belatedly applied for a permit to operate 15 of its turbines for 5 years.
I'm going to invite a representative up from the applicant XAI, Mr. Brent Mayo.
That's the first time that XAI has publicly addressed the community in any way.
I understand. People do not want to hear the statement, but again, XAI is committed to meeting the highest standard for emissions. XAI is going above and beyond the required emission control. To that, thank you very much for your time.
Damn. He got there told 2 sentences. Okay. And getting his ass booed. And this is the spirit of Esau Kingdom. You know, we gotta look at everything in the spirit, man. The Lord is born this nigga off stage, man. You know? And even though Memphis is a rough city, but you got the elect, in Memphis, you got a camp out there. So you got, the elect, okay, in Memphis, man. Those beautiful brothers out there in Memphis. Hardly shalom to them brothers. Okay. But man, the Lord getting this nigga off stage, man. Okay. The Lord is getting ready to pack this nigga up, man. Now, the Lord is judging. Okay, he's using the devil to judge, all right, because there's a lot of wickedness that go on in these cities, in America in general. Okay, so the Lord is judging, and the Lord's getting ready to save as well. Okay, matter of fact, let's go here. I said you can watch the rest of it. Like I said, the channel, what's the guy channel is More Perfect Union. Yeah, that's the channel, More Perfect Union. So you can subscribe to that, watch a little bit of their content. But let's go here, man. Let's get some precepts. So let's get this in the book of Sirach. All right, the 16th chapter. We'll get another Bible. Get the KJV. All right, so let's go into the book of Sirach, chapter 16. Okay, and the Lord got Esau set up for failure, man. All right, and there's a spirit in the earth, okay, that's against this devil going forward. And ultimate of Sirach 16 and 11, it says, and if there be one stiff neck among the people, it is a marvel if he escape unpunished. For mercy and wrath are with him. See, mercy and wrath. The Lord is going to show wrath. A lot of people going to get punished, even 2/3 of our people, man. Okay, but then the Lord is going to have mercy upon his elect, man. Okay, the Lord is going to have mercy on the earth, man. The earth is going to be turned back to a paradise under a righteous rulership, man. Okay, it says he is mighty to forgive, and this is elect. Because we all need, forgiveness, man. We all need mercy. You see, and through your house shot, there's forgiveness, and that's why we push your house shot and see our people. Hey, them people in Memphis, they should be at them camps. Listen to their word, because that's the only solution. The only solution to what we see happening with Esau is in the scriptures, man. Okay, that's the only solution on the planet Earth is Yahweh. Okay, ain't no solution outside of it, man. Okay, it says he is mighty to forgive and to pour out displeasure. He is mercy. As his mercy is great, so is correction. Also, he judges a man according to his works. Okay, so we're finna see great mercy and wrath go forth, man. And all you Edomites are going to be in that wrath. And you heathen. Okay, whether you're get a torture to death or you're reserved for captivity, man. Okay, but that's the judgment that's coming forth for you heathens. And 2/3, hey, they're going to get, you know, the horrific judgment. Okay, but eventually they'll come back in their right mind. You see, and they won't have to worry about a world ran by Esau. No, their people are going to be in rulership. Okay, and it's going to be in righteousness, man. The earth, Jake is going to be in their right environment, man, which is a righteous kingdom. That's Jake's natural environment. That's how we're designed to be in the righteous environment, man. Okay, Esau, Edom, this nigga's against peace. He's against life. You know, he's against order. You see, and there's a great judgment for this guy, man. Verse 13 says, "The sinner shall not escape with his spoils." See, Esau thinks he's finna escape with his spoils. He thinks he's finna, hijack existence, hijack creation, and make it in his image. Okay, and altering and you know, fabricate everything to his image, control everything. Okay, through technology, man. He thinks he's finna run off with his spoils. No, man. But says, "And the patient of the godly shall not be frustrated of the elect." You know, because we patiently day for day wait for this man to be cast down. You know, we patiently day for day wait for this man to be cast down. You see? So the Lord's not going to frustrate, the patience of the godly, of the elect. Okay, we're going to be beyond satisfied with the judgment that's coming for Esau and these heathens. Okay, and how he rewards his elect. Okay, but this nigga's the problem of the earth, man. The earth has an Edomite problem, point blank, period. Okay, he's the source of all death and wickedness and confusion and rebellion in the earth, man. You know, so I'll leave it there. You know, Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters, edify once again. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh, by Hashem, Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples for his young brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations, hope, and shalom.